KHOU 11 starts right now with a breaking news alert.
Good evening, I'm Ugochi Iloka. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is dead. That's according to reporting from Iranian state media. Iran's cabinet now warning that this, quote, great crime will not go unanswered. Airstrikes were launched by the U.S. and Israel early this morning. Video taken by a cell phone in Iran's capital appears to show the aftermath of one of those strikes. Sources telling CBS News that around 40 Iranian officials are believed to be dead. President Trump threatened the Iranian regime for weeks to make a new deal to rein in its nuclear program. Here's a look at where many of those strikes occurred. The Israeli military says it hit more than 500 targets across Iran. Tonight, satellite images show the supreme leader's compound before and after the strikes. As news of his death spread, celebrations were reported inside Tehran. Yeah, you heard it there. The strikes comes after a violent crackdown against protests in Iran back in January. We have team coverage for you tonight, but we begin first with Willie James Inman from West Palm Beach, Florida.
The airstrikes on Iran launched by the U.S. and Israel began Saturday morning. The Israeli military shared these images, what they say show some of the strikes. The airstrikes come after weeks of escalating tensions between Iran and the U.S., with President Trump repeatedly warning Iran to put an end to its nuclear program.
We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated.
President Trump confirmed the death of Iran's supreme leader, calling him one of the most evil people in history, adding that this is not only justice for the people of Iran, but for all great Americans. Iran was swift to retaliate, launching missiles against U.S. allies in the region, including Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. President Trump warned there could be U.S. casualties as Iran targets U.S. military forces in the region.
The Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
Well, a group of leading U.S. lawmakers known as the Gang of Eight were notified by Secretary of State Marco Rubio about the attack. Some Democratic lawmakers are expressing concern that the strikes were launched without congressional approval. In the U.S., New Yorkers expressed unease over the news of the airstrikes.
I'm instinctively worried whenever, the United States, our country starts bombing people, but sometimes it works fine and sometimes it doesn't.
I'm horrified. There's no grounds for it.
The New York Police Department says it is boosting security around sensitive sites, including religious and diplomatic institutions. Willie James Inman, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
And tonight, we're getting mixed reaction to the strikes on Iran. Republican Senator Ted Cruz issuing this statement that reads in part, quote, today's action will enhance the national security of the United States and our allies. I applaud our armed forces, our intelligence community, and President Trump for their capabilities and resolve to eliminate these threats. Meanwhile, former Vice President Kamala Harris condemned the strikes while in Michigan.
Donald Trump has dragged us into a war the American people do not want. He has put American troops in harm's way. I unequivocally oppose this war of choice, and everyone should.
And there are mixed opinions here in Houston, too. Orko Mana joining us after seeing dueling protests in the Galleria area tonight. Orko.
Tonight, members of the Iranian community in Houston are grateful for the American military intervention in Iran, but as they took to the streets here in celebration, so did another group, which fears that this could mean all-out war in the Middle East. Tensions rising tonight between two groups of protesters getting police involved as emotions run high in the wake of the military strikes against Iran. On one side, the Iranian community, which is cheering and chanting in celebration. They say they've waited for decades for the regime in their home country to be challenged. What did that mean to you to see that?
This means a lot to us. We are so happy.
This woman left Iran 35 years ago and has prayed every day since then for this moment.
Hearing that the terrorist leader of Iran has been killed, and all the people related to him will be killed very soon. That's what we wanted forever.
Now they're more optimistic about Iran's future than ever before.
This is the first time I feel my country has a voice to raise. Finally, we're out of the basically suppression of a very terrible dictatorship.
But just across the street,
no war with Iran!
Dozens of other protesters are speaking out against President Trump's decision to get involved.
Because the United States, which is my country, has a very long history of destruction. We always destroy. At the end of the day, there is destruction.
It's insane that another war starts just because this dementia, pedophile, brutal president of the United States decides that.
The Iranian Americans I spoke with say they don't see this as a war, they see this as the liberation of a nation. They plan to hold another demonstration here tomorrow. Reporting from the Galleria area, Orko Manna, KHOU 11 News.
Something to look out for Sunday. Thanks, Orko. I also spoke to a University of Houston professor tonight who's been following the Israel and Iran conflict closely.
What kind of impact could this have to the region?
Well, I think the most significant regional impact is the fact that Iran, from the first hour, began to climb the escalation ladder. This has turned this conflict into a regional war. This could have one or two consequences. It could either induce those countries that have been hit to join the U.S.-Israeli attack on Iran. We've also received reports about Iran seeking to close the Straits of Hormuz, through which a good deal of the petroleum supply to the United States and its allies in Western Europe flows.
Stay with us for continuing coverage. The KHOU 11 Morning News starts at 6:30 tomorrow morning, and stream us anytime on KHOU 11 Plus.